Daith da, Eubi Nagan. Welcome to podcast number 102. I had a pretty good weekend last weekend, since I spoke to you last. I did meet up with an old mate of mine, Damon Campbell, and he came over the border from England. He lives way up north, actually, up in Devon, and 'twas lovely to catch up with him. I mean, basically, me and him, we just talked funerals, and our wives and daughters, they took horses. But 'twas brilliant. I haven't seen him for ages. I first met him years ago. As you know, we supply funeral plans with Golden Charter, and Damon was our area rep. And then a few years ago, he took the plunge, and he is now a funeral director. I think he lives in a nice little village, if I'm right. So it was brilliant to catch up with him. We was open to go out with the coasters on Sunday, but we didn't have time. We was tied up in the morning, but we went out for a ride later, and we had a good old ride, really. We went out round Port Isaac, Port Gabriel. Port Isaac was even, because the lifeboat there, they had their fate on. And you went down on the Platte, you couldn't move. It was lovely to see so many people. And then Port Gabriel. And then we went in the Seaview shop there on the way to Delabole, and we had a coffee. And it's there I got me dialect for directly. But I say I'll do that at the end of the podcast. But then when we come out and we headed for Delabole, the blimmin' drizzle started. And then for the next 10 mile or more, 'twas blimmin' drizzling all the time, which was a bit of a pain. And then it stopped as we got closer to St Mabon. But we had a good old ride. I think we did about 35 mile, and all was well. When the week began then, Monday, we was up Blisland, and I'd been up to check all was well on Friday, and good job I did, because the road was blocked. They're doing roadworks. So 'twas a diversion, really. You either went up round towards St Breward, or you kept to the main road and went to Bodmin. And we decided we'd keep to the main road, really, because the trouble is, when you got a road blocked in Cornwall, you think, right, we'll go the other way, or you're diverted the other way, which is always a narrow lane. And you think, well, that's fine, no problem, except you've got a stream of cars coming the other way. So you're forever reversing or whatever. And you think, well, 'tis okay in a car, but 'tin very dignified in a hearse if you've got to keep reversing. So we kept to the main roadway and went through Bodmin to get up to Blisland. On Tuesday, I met up with an old schoolmate of mine, Pete Lobb, when we conducted his dad's funeral. And I think it's this episode today, because I was talking to Margaret Thompson, and we were talking about where she worked at school. And she mentioned David and Maggie, his wife. But 'tis nice now that she's mentioned their name. So as long as the podcasts are on the internet, they won't be forgotten. And we've had other trips to Glyn Valley this week. One was for dear Faye, who I've known for such a long time. And then we was at Eglesale today. And we was with Reverend Steve Payne, and 'twas his last service before he retires. I think he officially finished last Sunday, but dear of him, he did do this funeral service for us today. And Steve's been with us, I think 'tis 4 years now, and he's now retiring. And it was, I did have a little photo done, actually. I put on our RJ Bray Facebook page. So we wished him all the best and hope that he has a long, happy retirement. I did say to him, actually, that I've been waiting for this day for the last 4 years, but obviously I was only joking. Another thing you may have seen, I did put on my Facebook page, and if you listen to Radio Cornwall, you might well have heard it. But this weekend is the bank holiday weekend, and there's always so much happening in Cornwall on this weekend. And one thing that's happening is flower shows. Now, there's a clash of flower shows, and Radio Cornwall picked up on this, and Withiel and St Mirren, they ain't too far apart. They've got their flower festivals, the flower festivals, all over the weekend. There's also one at Lanteglis as well, up near Camelford, but that's a bit further away. And we were delighted, we've sponsored all three of them actually, so we're delighted to do that. But they did a nice little article on Radio Cornwall. And of course, two of the main ones, you got George Kessel. George is there with the Withiel one. And Elizabeth Bennett, she's down there with St Mirren. And they both, well, we've been good friends with both of them. They're a lovely gang. And Radio Cornwall did a lovely little feature on them. And I think they called it Floral Fisticuffs or Dahlias at Dawn or something like that. But say this podcast will come out on Saturday. And if you are around, they are worth going to. I'm open to get there myself, but obviously I'm always on call, so I might not be able to. But so you've got one at Withiel, one at St Mirren, and one at Lantaglis, and that's the Lantaglis up near Camelford. Another thing I did put on our RJ Bray Facebook page, which I'd never seen before until this week, is a boat hearse. And it's fantastic. And basically, it is these people up in Devon, and they've made this hearse out of a boat. They've put a kind of a deck on it, and it's not for going in the water. It is for towing behind their car or Range Rover, whatever it is. I think it is a Range Rover. And then you put the coffin on top of this boat. And it's a fantastic thing for anyone that have loved being on the sea or on the water. It is a brilliant thing. You can have a look on our Facebook page. Say they're based in Devon. They don't actually charge anything for do it, but they do like to have a donation for their children's charity. And I would hope in the future, if anyone in our area would like it, that they would come down to us. Because I say they're a few miles away, but I would love it if they could come down. But you can have a look on our Facebook. 'Tis proper. And also today, the GCSE results come out, or as we used to say, O-levels. And I know it is a horrible, stressful time. Dear old Mabon, our youngest maid, she put some work into it. She really did put me to shame, really, because I didn't really revise a lot when I was younger. I did for me chemistry O-level at St Austell Sixth Form because I had to really twist her arm to let me do it because I didn't have the maths qualifications and they didn't think I would pass. And I wanted to prove them wrong. So I did, and I did, which was brilliant. I think the only other time I really revised was back in 1987 when I took my diploma for funeral directing, which went really well as well. But dear old Mabon, she definitely put in the work and she's had some brilliant results. So the next stage for her now is to Callywith College in at Bodmin. But I'd just like to congratulate all the kids that have done well, and to the ones that haven't done well, it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. I did all right with O-levels, but where it went wrong for me was we was halfway through and I caught glandular fever. So a couple of them I didn't even take because I couldn't get out of bed. And a couple of them, Father had to actually carry me into school because I was that weak. I was rough as router, really. Rough as router. Luckily, about 6 weeks later, I suppose, when the term ended and everything, we were in the group at school, Federation, and I don't know, was it a week? I don't know, because we had over 100 songs that we'd learnt. And over a period of time, we just went into the drama studio there at school, played them all live kind of thing, and recorded them. And we recorded 2 albums, and they sold really well in Wadebridge, actually. And luckily, I'd got over the glandular fever by then. But, yeah, so anyway, I say, well done, Mabon. You did us proud, mate. So now I think we'll go over to Margaret for the second part of her interview. I think it is in this one that she does mention David and Maggie Lobb. So it is a nice little tribute to them that their names are mentioned. There is one thing which is funny because we was talking about different things before we started the recording when I went to see her. And one thing we did talk about was Captain Cleve at Trevanion House. Now, when we actually did a recording, I didn't notice at the time, but Margaret just had a slip of the tongue and said Trevanson House. Well, of course, there is a Trevanson in Wadebridge, which is the other side of the town to Trevanion. And, of course, my editing skills, I can't cut it out anyway. And my cousin up below, Ian, obviously he picked up on it, which was brilliant. So he did just put a little comment there. And it's actually Trevanion House, which we we'd said before we started recording. But one interesting thing, because it was Captain Cleve that lived there, and I didn't know until Ian actually did put a little comment, and he was actually Surgeon Captain Cleve. And the interesting bit was that he was a pioneer in the diet of naval personnel, and he actually introduced bran into their daily meal, which never happened back then. And of course now a lot more people do that. So it was quite interesting actually that Ian let us know that, which was brilliant. I didn't know that at all. So, but yeah, 'tis Trevanion House, which is a lovely looking house. If it still looks lovely now, I must admit. All the land around now have been built on. But as you're going up to Burlawn, it's the top of Trevanion Road. You see it there on the left-hand side. 'Tis proper. Right, well, 'tis over to Margaret now, and I'll speak to you again directly. So, here it is. I say, the first I can remember you is here in Glen Road.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
What year did you move in here then? Can you remember?
Yeah, 61.
Oh, was that? Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody staying in the same place all that time.
Yeah.
But then you were in over across the road for a long time in that house, weren't you?
That's right. Well, I was born there in 64. Yeah, 1964.
Yeah, because Sean's was 63.
Yeah, that's right.
Did I say 61 I moved in?
Yeah.
62 it was.
Ah, right.
Yeah, 62. I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had Sean a year later.
Yeah. Yeah, we were at Gonvina for 2 years, I think. But I was saying about the river and being how lovely it is. Aren't we lucky to have that river?
Yeah.
I wish it was used more, really.
Yeah.
But of course, you need the tide.
Yes. Yeah. True. Yeah.
But beautiful. And to see the town from different angles, you know, sometimes you think, well, where's that? Don't you?
Yeah.
And it's somewhere you know really well.
Yeah.
Although I was looking at a couple of aerial photos, old aerial photos.
Yeah.
At Old Cornwall the other night. There's Saturday morning. We had a coffee morning.
Ah, right.
And they always bring things, you know, pertaining to the place. And Joe and I were looking at these two photographs, and it took us ages, you know, to sort out where things were, because things have changed. I mean, these were quite early photos.
Yeah.
We had quite a job, but I find that coming up the river, I'm thinking, well, where's that house up there, you know? Yeah.
Do you get many attend Old Cornwall?
Yeah, we do. We not quite as many as it was before COVID.
No, right.
We were like up 90 members, and we get a lot of people on. We have it on the first Tuesday in the month.
Right.
In the town hall, 7:00. No, I'm advertising.
Yeah, no, that's good. Go for it.
And we have a really good attendance.
Yeah.
We still do get a good attendance, but it's not quite as many as it was before.
No.
Isn't it strange how we say that? Part of history now, but before COVID and after.
COVID, yeah. And of course, Glen Road was different, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a dead end.
Yeah.
And hardly any cars.
No, it's awful now, isn't it, Dave?
Because, see, we lost all lower side. You had the wall down there. And, of course, all of the houses now in Trevanion Road, they've all been built in the gardens, haven't they?
Yeah,
so the
very different. Talking about photographs, well, my mum, as you know, she used to do a lot of photography.
Yes.
And she was always, apart from her own photographs, she always loved postcards and things. And she decided to put them together. And she did a couple of books, but before that, she'd started to do slideshows.
Yeah.
She did it for the disabled or Darby and Joan and all that kind of thing. And she used to come up to school with slides. And then when she did the two books, I think she was over 80 when she published them. And I think it really, not sickened her exactly, but it tired her out, really. And she didn't want to do it. And she said she wouldn't come up to school because their little voices, she couldn't hear quite as well as she used to. And so she decided not to do it. So they said to me, oh, Mark, we're ready for your mum to come and do it. I said, well, she didn't really want to do it anymore. But I'll ask her if she'll let me do it.
Yeah.
So she said yes to that. So I took it on. So I've expanded it since. We've got more than she had. But my place is full of postcards and photographs and everything. But I love it. I really, really love it.
Because Mother, she was a Cornish bard, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was really for her, I think, for services to the Old Cornwall Society and through her photography.
Yeah.
Because she did quite a lot with Camera Club, Weybridge Camera Club. She really enjoyed that. And she used to get on with them all very well. Also, she used to do it for the church. She was always raising funds with her slideshows. Yeah. She also had the Monday money,
Oh, did
she? From the Queen in Truro Cathedral. Yeah, that was a wonderful day.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she could take one person with her, so that was me.
Yeah.
So Sean and Anne came over and picked us up and took us to Truro, and then we went in and I went in and sat. She was taken away to be told everything. But what they did, it was everybody was in they had their own seating. And the one person that they were allowed to take had the seat behind them. So that you actually saw what was going on. So Mr. Burridge was also, I think Mum's was for for St. Breock Parish, and Mr. Burridge was for Eglisale, because he played the organ there for years, didn't he? And so the Queen came along and presented them. And they were beefeaters, with holding the salvers with the purses on, and then one would hand it to the Queen, and she would present it to the participant. Well, they came with her and went past us, and Mum sobbed out loud, great sob. Oh. Well, the beefeater that was looked back and winked at her. Oh. I thought it was so lovely.
Oh, brilliant.
And I didn't know what to. I thought, if I lean over and put my arms around her, will she be worse? You know what I mean? Because it's great. The Queen turned around and looked. Oh dear, poor old Mum. But she was such a royalist, and it meant so much to her,
Yeah.
And when she was made a bard, it was that was another lovely, beautiful day.
Yeah.
And that happened up at Lansdowne.
Right.
So, of course, all her Camelford family, they were able to go. We took lovely photographs of them all together and all that kind of thing. So
brilliant.
Yeah. That was another lovely day.
Yeah.
I got some lovely memories.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, Mum was right on. She always volunteered to do everything. She used to help at Derby and Joan, and then she said, I served somebody one day, and she looked at me all smug and smiled, and she said, I thought to myself, I'm years older than her. I'm not doing it anymore. I'll wait to be waited on.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So did you go to work at the school then after you had Sean? Or?
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah, he must have been about 10. I used to go in and out of Collins and Russell still when he was at play school and things like that. Yeah. But really and truly, I think I was just a I shouldn't say just, but I was a housewife for... I know what I did. I did Pandora and Tupperware first. Yeah. So I used to go all over the place with Tupperware. All over the county, really. That was good. I was a manager for a time, so they provide you with a car. That was really? I had an Avenger.
Oh, did he? Avenger. Oh.
Yeah, and then I went on to clothes. Yeah. After a while, which interested me more. Yeah. So yes, I've done a few things, but the school was especially the old school. Yeah. The first.
Yeah, definitely. So Miss Franklin was the headmistress then when you was... Yeah, that's right. And school teachers, I suppose Teig was there?
Yeah, Teig was there. Yeah, Maggie Lobb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I'd been to school with Maggie and David.
Yes. Yeah.
And Yvonne Nobbs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mrs. Robertson?
No, I didn't work with Vicky. No, I didn't work with Vicky. She left when
She was my first teacher.
Yes. Yeah. Margaret Emery.
Oh, yeah.
She was, and we were in the same class at school, so she came back, you see, to Wadebridge.
And Barbara Poconorn was...
Yeah, we were great friends, yeah. You loved Mrs. P, didn't you?
Yeah. I couldn't pronounce Poconorn, so Mrs. P. She was a darling.
Yeah, I miss Barb.
So your second stint, was that the new building, was it?
Yes, I finished at the old school, and then when I went back 10 years later, of course they'd moved.
Yeah. Different personnel then as well.
Yeah. Well, Jim Young was. Oh, yeah. He was at the old school when I was
there. Yeah.
He was amazing. He knew every child by name, you know. He knew them all right off. Well, yeah, I worked with Eddie. I loved working with Eddie.
Yeah, he was really.
Yeah, Eddie Reynolds.
Yeah.
He had such an amazing sense of humour, you know. I loved that. We were on the same wavelength, shall we say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you see them coming. Then you see their children coming in, you know.
Yeah.
I know I was in classroom one day and I thought, gosh, I can remember your daddy at that age. And then I thought, oh, crikey, I can remember his granddad. Not at school, but he was a Wellington Place boy. Yeah. And I thought, I can remember him just like you.
Exactly.
I was very friendly with Anne. She was my best friend. Anne, old as she is now.
Oh, yes.
Anne Olin.
Yeah, that's
It was Dudley's grandchildren I was looking at.
Yeah. And then after school, then, when you left there, was that it for work, or did you go anywhere?
No, when I waited till I was 65.
Oh, I see.
And then I retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I worked at the dentists in between the two schools. I went to work for Kevin Mosley and Brian Galbraith.
Yeah. And
they kept losing receptionists, and I said, well, I can guarantee I won't get pregnant like all these other receptionists. So I got the job. Laurie Hooper, who worked for Collins and Russell again, next door to the dentists, they were up there then.
Ah, right.
And he said, oh, I didn't know you were changing jobs. You could have come to work for me. Anyway, I decided that, I see, it was because of school, really. Every day was different in school. Yeah. Every hour was different. Exactly. And I was shut into the dentist, and I felt a bit claustrophobic. And every form you filled in was the same form, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Turn the hair around. Anyway, I thought, so I went into work for Laurie then.
Yeah.
And I worked there for 2 years, and I did the Halifax Building Society, which I loved. Oh, right. They were agents.
Yeah.
And then Laurie decided, in his wisdom, to give up the agency.
I see.
And it was taken on by Kithouse.
Right.
And I thought, oh, I loved that work.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that work side of it. So Grenville said, you know, I could go with the business. Yeah. So then I went to work for them.
Yeah.
Down at Kithouse.
Yeah.
But I still liked school.
Yeah.
I still hankered after school.
Exactly.
So I had the opportunity to go back. Now when Mrs. Buckingham I worked with first, I loved working with Maggie and Yvonne. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, they all were. Marguerite.
Yes,
you know.
Yeah.
And you make friendships that build friendships that you keep for ever, don't you, really?
Totally.
I always think of my best friend as being Anne Old, even though I don't see her so much, obviously, nowadays. Right. No. But she lives up. Why do people go and live up top of a hill? Ah, dear. Anyway, there we are. That was that.
Well, there we go. Proper job. Thank you for that, Margaret. And we'll have one more with you next week. I thought for me Cornish word of the week, seeing we was talking about Trevanion and Trevanson earlier, I looked up and I thought I would do the translation of Trevanson. Now, I look back and the first mention of Trevanson is back in 1259, and it was spelled a bit different then. And then again in 1284 it's been mentioned, and Trevanson is actually the farm of Anton. The farm of Anton. So as the years went by, the NT changed to NS. So Anson. But that's what it is. The farm of Anton is what Trevanson was. And for me, Cornish dialect of the week, like I said, we went up the farm shop and I said to the maid up there, we left our bikes actually in the shop, in the little outside bit. And I said, here, don't go selling our bikes while we're in here, will he? And she came out with a lovely bit of dialect, which I thought was brilliant. I haven't heard it for ages. And she said, 'tis my boy you got to look out for, because he's a proper blimmer. Which I thought was brilliant. Blimmer. So that's what we're going for this week, is blimmer. Which is a bit like he's a bit of a heller. Which is a bit like he's a scally. So he's a blimmer. Or he's a heller. I don't know if we've had heller before or no. But that's what it's going to be this week anyway. Right, well, I'm going to leave you now. And I hope you have a good week. And I'll speak to you again next week. Wish you well. Do Guinness. Curnovis Ficken.